So we have an impossible situation. It's like someone coming and, imagine someone you love, your child, coming and saying, "Mommy or Daddy, please tell me, what do I need to do to be human? I want to become human." So what would you answer? You say, "I want to be human." And they're desperate. They're really desperate. "I want to be human. What should I do? Tell me, please. I need to do something. What would make me human?" Well, you are human. But, it's a 3-year-old child. Let me make it a little easier. Let's start with something easier. Your 5-year-old comes, says, "Daddy or Mommy, there are monsters under my bed. I can't sleep. There are monsters under my bed." And they're crying. They're really distressed. Now, if you're Ken, you would tell them, "Monsters are a factual impossibility. Go back to sleep." I tried that 6 times. So here's the situation. Your child is coming, very distressed. "Daddy, Daddy, Mommy, I can't sleep. There are monsters under my bed." What do? You what? You hold them, you love them, yes? Okay. You go with them to the bedroom, and you look. Now, do you have a doubt that there may be monsters under the bed? I mean, really, you as a father. Do you think you're going to, let's not talk about the psychological projections and all that. That's fine. I understand that, in the subtle realm, there are monsters. But I'm just talking in the gross realm, because you go and say, "Let's look," and you don't say, "Okay, let's do a visualization, let's feel the energy." So no, let's turn on the light and let's look. So you're talking gross. Don't give me that bullshit about energies and shamanistic things. You turn on the light and you're looking. Now, do you have any doubt that maybe you'll find a monster? Has anybody ever found a monster under the bed? In the thousands of years there were children see monsters under their bed and call their parents? Yet you go look. Why? Why do you look? If you know that there are no monsters, why do you look? For the kid. So tell me a little bit, what's the thought process? What would happen? Exactly. So yeah, I'll repeat it. So for the kid means you are willfully entering the world of delusion of the child in that moment for the sake of love, because you're doing it for love. So you're suspending your disbelief. At the same time, you're not believing in the monsters, but you're entering. So, okay, now here we are, and we're saying, okay, how do I get out of the matrix? How do I learn about my true being? What's the path that I'm going to follow to find myself? And it's a similar question to the child that says, how can I sleep when there are monsters under my bed? Because the one that's asking the question, who am I, is the one that needs to find that being is consciousness, is bliss. So how do we do that? How do we look under the bed? Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to have some practices to enter into the world of the relative. And some of these practices are very conceptual. In the philosophy of yoga, this would be called the Jnana Yoga, so the yoga of wisdom. So even though there's no two, and consciousness is everything, just like energy is everything, we're going to engage into a consideration of the different aspects of this relative reality. Much of what Ken presents in his books and the conceptual understanding there can be thought of as a way to look under the bed and discover who's really there, what is going on really here. And Ken has created this beautiful system that has quadrants, levels, lines, stages, types, states. Most of you, I'm assuming that I'm not going to go into discussing the model. You've heard the tapes or read some books or participated in the class yesterday. So that's one activity that we do to understand the world cognitively. Another yoga could be the Raja Yoga or the yoga of meditation, just letting the mind be still. So we're going to be fully present with whatever is happening moment by moment. And the paradox is also, apparently we're trying to get something, but the truth is we are that we're looking for. Another thing we're going to do is the Bhakti Yoga. Some people find it very easy to feel the adoration, the love for God, and thinking of God as an external thing, that I'm going to pray to God, I'm going to connect with God, and I'm going to unite. Religion means to reunite, similar to yoga. So that's another activity that we're going to do. So there are all these practices. The last one that we're going to pay attention to is karma yoga, the yoga of action. How do I act in the world, reminding myself of who I really am? Consciousness, being, bliss. But the trick is not to fall into the trap of, okay, I'm doing all these things, so I'm going to get either a material state, an emotional state, or a spiritual state at the end that will really give me what I didn't have before. Integral consciousness is going to be the realization of what has always been, but has been hidden. And not simply as an idea in my mind or a feeling in my heart, but as a fully multidimensional experience. And that's the path that leads to the gateless gate. In Kent's terms, it would be going from first tier, where your energy is totally contracted and totally self-centered. If you want to talk about, we can use the three distinctions. The pre-conventional, so the egocentric. Oh, sorry, I thought it was the bell. So the pre-conventional, or the egocentric, is the level at which all your energy is wrapped up in yourself, and you're trapped in this energetic vortex of an individual human being. I am who I am, I want what I want to get this thing, and every other person is simply a tool for me to get what I want. It's very difficult to escape from that, to get out of that by simply just time. People don't grow because time passes. So from the pre-conventional, there are several practices that will move people to a higher level of conventional interaction, starting to see the other person as a legitimate other. The other person exists too. There's other things in the world that are not simply for my use. And then from that conventional to the post-conventional, where it's more an integral perspective, where I am not separate from the other. I see myself as part of the system. It's not the other and me, but it's a system and I'm a part of the system. So much of the journey, so to speak, that we're going to take to integral consciousness happens through this evolution, apparent evolution through these levels. And here's the paradox. The truth is we're going nowhere, but we don't know we're going nowhere. We feel like we're stuck in the pre-conventional. And through all these practices, we're going to start liberating energy from this vortex of delusion, so that now another truth and another experience of consciousness and bliss can shine. And that's what we're going to be doing this week. We're going to be working in the relative realm, where there are rules, where there's progression, where there's growth, where there's quadrants, where there are levels, where there's all this interpretation. And periodically, as Ken says, we'll be touching the fiber of which this ladder is made. So we're climbing the ladder to get to some place. And what we are going to find out is that the ladder is made of the very place we're trying to reach to.